Good afternoon, class. Our topic for today is all about Polya'S method of problem solving. Whether you like it or not, whether you are going to be a mother, father, teacher, computer programmer, scientist, researcher, business owner, coach, mathematicians, manager, doctor, lawyer, banker, or other professions, problem solving is an integral part of our daily lives. Some people think that you either can do it or you can't. Contrary to that belief, it can be learned trait. Even the best athletes, musicians, have some coaching along the way and lots of practice. That's what it also takes to be a good problem solver. George Polyan, known as the father of modern problem solving, did extensive studies and wrote numerous mathematical papers and 3 books about problem solving. I'm going to show you his method of problem solving to help step you through these problems. Okay, let's proceed. Polya created his famous 4-step process of problem solving, which is used all over to aid people in problem solving. The first step is understand the problem. Sometimes the problem lies in understanding the problem. If you are unclear as to what needs to be solved, then you are probably going to get the wrong results. Okay? In order to show an understanding of the problem, you, of course, need to read the problem carefully or numerous times until you understand it. Sounds simple enough, but some people jump the gun and try to solve or try to start solving the problem before they have read the whole problem. Once the problem is read, you need to list all the components and data that are involved. Okay? Once the problem is read, you need to list all the components and the data that are involved. This is where you will be assigning the variables. Your second step, we have devise a plan. When you devise a plan, translate, come up with the way to solve the problem. Setting up an equation, drawing a diagram, and marking a chart are all ways that you can go about your problem solving. In this tutorial, we will be setting up equations for each problem. For your third step, okay, carry out the problem or solve the problem. This is where you will see the solution part, okay, that makes it big. This is where you solve the equation. You came up with your devise a plan step, okay? In this part, again, you're going to show your solutions. The equations in this tutorial will be linear equations. If you need help solving them, by all means, you can click this link. On the fourth step, we have your look back or check and interpret. In this part, you're just going to check your answers if those answers are valid or not. You may be familiar with the expression don't look back. In problem solving, it's good to look back, check, and interpret. Basically, this part, okay, you will see if you use all your information and that the answer makes sense or valid. Okay? If your answer does check out, okay, or wrong, make sure that you write your final answer with the correct labeling. Okay? So we have your numeric word problems, okay? Sample problems. For the first one is, we have this one. Twice the difference of a number and 1 is more than that number. Find the number. Okay, for the first step, we have to read the problem numerous times until we understand it. Twice the difference of a number and 1 is 4 more than that number. Okay, find the number. Make sure that you read the questions carefully several times. Since we are looking for a number, okay, this one, we're going to let that as an x, okay? Let x be equal to a number, okay? And then for the device plan, for your second step, we're going to establish now our equation. How are we going to establish that? Twice the difference of a number and 1 is 4 more than that number. If we're going to represent this mathematically, twice means 2, and then the difference of a number is actually of of an x, okay? Your unknown x, and 1. So this one, twice the difference of a number and 1, okay? So 2 multiply the quantity of x minus 1 is 4 more than that number. Is here would be your equal sign, 4 more than that number, okay? X plus 4. Now let's proceed with the step 3, okay? Where we are going to show our solution. If we're going to expound now the equation we have established from your second step, okay, this becomes 2x minus 2 is equal to x plus 4. Now remember, solving mathematical problems, particularly algebra or algebraic problems, okay, we're going to group your variables and numerical coefficients, okay, separately. Okay, for your variables, we're going to put that on the left side of equation and numerical values on the right side of your equation. Hence, in this example, 2x and then transpose your x to the other side of your equation, that becomes minus, okay? From positive, it becomes minus because you have transposed it to the left side of your equation. So 2x minus x is equal to 4. And then if we're going to transpose your negative 2 to the other side of equation, that becomes plus 2. So 2x minus x is equal to 4 plus 2. Okay, if we're going to further simplify this one, it becomes x minus 2 is equal to 4 or x is equal to 6. Now, if we're going to check the answer, okay, if you take twice the difference of x and 1, that is the same as 4 more than x. So this does check. How are we going to do it? Our answer is 6. If we're going to substitute our final answer to the established equations at 2, for step 2, we have 2 multiply 6 minus 1. So that becomes 2 multiply it with your 5 or 10 is equal to, okay, 6 plus 4, that is also to 10. Okay, 10 is equal to 10. Okay, for your second example, one number is less than another number. If the sum of the two numbers is 177, find each number. Okay, one number is 3 less than another number. Okay, your another number will be represented as your x. Okay, let x will be equal to another number. So the one number now is x minus 3. Okay, if the sum of the two numbers is 177, okay, let's proceed to your second step. Okay, we're going to establish now our equation. So we are talking about the sum of the another number and the one number. If we're going to add your unknown variables on step 1, x plus the quantity of the one number, which is x minus 3. So this becomes x minus 3 plus x would be equated to 177. If we're going to proceed now to our solution on step 3, x minus 3 plus x is equal to 177. So we're going to group the same variables on the left side of equation and numerical variables on the right side of equation. If we're going to transpose your negative 3 to the right side of equation, that becomes positive 3. So it becomes 2x is equal to 180. Now, to retain a single variable on the left side of your equation, since this is 2x or twice of x is equal to 180, we have to divide both sides of equation as 2x all over 2 is equal to 180 all over 2, finalizing our answer now into 90. How are you going to check whether your final answer is right or wrong? Our final answer for this problem is 90. We're going to substitute now 90 on the equation we had established on step 2, okay? So 90 minus 3, that is 87, plus 90 gives us 177. So our final answer validates the equation we had established on step 2, okay? Our two answers now, since we are asked to solve both numbers, okay, we have your x as the another number, okay? Your x is equal to 90. Now, if we're going to solve for the one number, 90 minus 3 gives us 87, okay? Our final answer now gives us this one, 90 and 87. 90 for the one number, or x minus x, okay? Your x now is 90. And then the one number would be 87. So we have your percent problems. Whenever you are working with the percent problem, you need to make sure you write your percent in decimal form. You do this by moving the decimal place percent to the left, okay? By two positions or two spots. How are we going to do that? Say, for example, we are given with 32%. If we're going to convert that to fraction form or decimal form, okay, this gives us 0.32. So this percentage sign, you're going to convert it to dot sign and then move it to the left twice. Okay. So 1, 2 gives us 0.32. When you are wanting to find the percentage of some numbers, remember that off, okay, when we see off, represents multiplication. For algebraic problems, again, when we say off, that is multiplication. Find 45% of 125. Since we had encountered here on your third example as of, your of here is actually a multiplication. So 45% multiply it with 125. Okay, for the first step, okay, let x be the value we are looking for or what we were looking for. So for the second step, we're going to devise the plan. Okay, your x now is equal to 0.45. Multiply it with 125. The 45%, you're going to convert it to decimal form. It becomes 0.45. Now, if we're going to show our solution for the third step, this is x is equal to 0.45, multiply it with 125, or x is equal to 56.25. Then for the fourth step, looking it back, we have this one as 56.25 is 45% of 125. How is that so? If we're going to reverse now the operation, your final answer, divide it with the given percentage. As for this example, 45%, or convert it to fraction as 0.45. 56.25 divided with 0.45 gives us 125. Kindly check it on your calculators. Okay, so the final answer now is 56.25. For your fourth example, a math class has 30 students, approximately 70% pass their last math test. How many students passed the last math test? Okay, for the first step, understand the problem. Make sure that you read the question carefully several times. We are looking for how many students passed the last math test. We will let X be equal to the number of students. For your second step, devise a plan. A number that is 70% of 30 gives us x is equal to 0.7 of 30. Okay. If we're going to carry out the plan or show our solution for step 3, this becomes x is equal to 0.7, multiply it with 30, or x is equal to 21. If we're going to look back, okay, if our answer 21 is correct, okay, we're going to divide 21 with zero point 0.7 or 70%. Okay, so 21 all over 0.7 gives us 30, which is this is in your problem statement. Hence, your final answer validates as 21. Okay, 21 students passed the last math test. So we have the fifth example. I purchased a new TV at the local electronics store for $541.25, which included tax. If the tax rate is 8.25%, find the price of the TV before they added the tax. Okay, for the first step, okay, understand the problem, okay? Let X now be equal to the price of TV before the tax was added. If we're going to devise the plan for step 2 or establish our equation, okay, the original price plus 8 8.25% of the tax will give you the purchasing cost of 541.25. So X now, since X is represented as the price of the TV before the tax was added, so X plus, if we're going to add now the tax, 0.0825 of X would be equal to 541.25. If we're going to carry out the plan or show our solution on step 3, gives us X plus 0.0825, X is equal to 541.25. Okay, simplifying further the equations give us 1.0825 of X is equal to 541.25. Dividing both sides of equation by 1.0825 gives us X would be equal to 500. Now that is the price of the TV prior adding the tax. So if we're going to check the answer for step 4, we're just going to substitute the final answer with the established equation on step 2. So 500 plus 0.0825 of 500, okay? The 8.25% of your 500 gives us 41.25, okay? So 500 plus 41.25 gives us 541.25. Hence, this validates your final answer as 400, as 500, okay? Okay, as 500. Now we have your perimeter problems such as your rectangle problems. The perimeter of a rectangle, 2 multiply it with length plus 2 multiply it with width. Okay, in a blueprint of a rectangular room, the length is 1 inch more than 3 times the width. Okay, find the dimensions if the perimeter is to be 26 inches. For the first step, let W would be equal to the width. Now, the length is in terms of 1 inch more than 3 times of the wind. Okay, so if we're going to consider this one 3 times the wind, you're going to multiply 3 with W. And then since this is an inch more than, when we encounter more than, you're going to add, okay? So in this statement, length is 1 inch more than 3 times the width. So that is 1 plus 3W or 3W plus 1, which is equal to your length. Now, if we're going to devise the plan, establish our equation, we have your perimeter as given as 26 inches, okay? So 26 inches is equal to the perimeter of your rectangle as twice of your length plus twice of your width, namely twice of 1 plus 3W plus 2W, okay? Now, for the step 3, we're going to show our solutions and then simplify the whole equation as 26 equal to 2, multiply it 1 plus 3W plus 2W gives us 26 plus 2 plus 6W plus 2W. Okay, let's separate now our variables from your numerical coefficients. Okay, if we're going to, in this instance, okay, as shown in the screen, we have your 26, okay? Transpose your 2 here, minus 2, okay? Is equal to 6 plus 2, that is 8W. Now, 24 is equal to 8W. If we're going to retain W as your variable, since we are going to solve your W, divide both sides with 8. So W now is equal to 3. Now, if we're going to look back or check our final answers for its validity, okay, we're going to substitute now your final answer or width as equal to 3 inch, okay? 26 is equal to 2, multiply it with 1 plus 3, multiply it with 3, okay, plus 2, multiply it with 3, okay, 2 plus 10 plus 6, okay, so 20 plus 6, that makes it 26 inch. Now, we are going to solve two variables in this problem. Since not only the width, but also the length is part of the problem, okay? How are we going to solve now for the length? We're going to substitute your 3 here to your length, okay? So 1 plus 3, multiply it with your 3. So 1 plus 9, that is 10 inches. For your length now, that is equal to 10 inches. And then for your width, which is equal to 3 inches, okay? So we have your supplementary and complementary angles. Find the measure of each angle in the figure below. Note that since the angle makes up a straight line, they are supplementary to each other, okay? You have the following. So you can see here, this acute angle here is x, and then the obtuse angle here is 5x. Understand the problem. How are we going to solve that? Let x be equal to the one angle and 5x to the larger angle or for the obtuse angle. Now, if we're going to devise or establish equation for your second step, this makes us x plus 5x is equal to 180. Your 180 is equal to the sum of your supplementary angles. Now, if we're going to carry out or show our numerical solutions, we're just going to simplify the equations we had established on the second step. So x plus 5x is equal to 180. If you're going to simplify further your left side of equation with the variables of x, this makes us 6x. And then the right side still 180. Dividing both sides of equation as 6 with um with 6, I mean, this gives us your x to 30. If we're going to um, do our fourth step, we're going to check now our final answer as x is equal to 30. Our final answer is x is equal to 30, right? If we're going to substitute it on the established equation on second step, 30 plus 5 multiply it with 30, which gives us 150. So 150 plus 30, that gives us 180 degrees. Now, there are two variables that are all to be solved on this problem. We have your x and 5x. Since our x is equal to 30, 30 degrees, the other angle, which is in terms of 5x, so 5 multiply it with 30 gives us 150 degrees. Now, the final answer for this problem, okay, gives us the following. The two angles are 30 degrees and 150 degrees. Okay, we have your consecutive integers. Okay, for example, 5, 6, and 7 are three consecutive integers. If we let x represent the first integer, how would we represent the second consecutive integer in terms of x? Well, if we look 5, 6, and 7, note that 6 is 1 more than 5, the first integer. In general, we could represent the second integer by x plus 1. And what about the third consecutive integer? Note that how 7 is 2 more than 5. So the difference between 7 and 5 is 2. So if we're going to represent that, that is in x plus 2 for the third consecutive integer. For consecutive even integer, say for example, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, okay? Or 4, 6, 8, that those are three consecutive integers. Okay, if we let x represent the first even integer, how would we represent the second consecutive even integer? Note that 6 is 2 more than 4. Okay, so this one is x plus 2 for the second even consecutive integer. For the third even consecutive integer, okay, the difference between your 8 and 4, this could be represented as x plus 4. Got it? For consecutive integers, okay, we have this one consecutive odd integers. For example, 5, 7, 9 are three consecutive odd integers. If we let x represent the first odd integer, how would we represent the second consecutive odd integer in terms of x? Note that 7 is 2 more than 5. Okay? For the first odd integer, okay, that is only 7. And then for the second consecutive odd integer, if we're going to represent it algebraically, that becomes sec second consecutive integer as x plus 2, okay? So 5 plus 2, that gives us 7 for your consecutive integer. And then in the point of in the point of reference of your third consecutive odd integer, say for example, this one is 9. Okay, how are we going to represent it with 5? Okay, 5 plus 4 would be equal to 9, or x plus 4 for consecutive odd integer. Okay, Note that the common misconception is that because we want an odd, that we should not be adding a2, which is an even number. Okay, that is a big no-no. Keep in mind that x is representing an odd number, that the next odd number is 2 away, just like 7 is 2 away from 5. So we need to add 2 to the first odd number to get to the second consecutive odd number. Okay? We have your example here. The sum of three consecutive integers is 258. Find the integer. Okay, for the first step, okay, your first consecutive integer would be equal to your x. Okay, for the second consecutive integer, that is x plus 1. Then for the third consecutive integer, okay, on this problem, it is not stated whether it is even or odd. Okay, for consecutive integers, it has one incremental for the second consecutive integer and two incremental from the first consecutive integer for the third consecutive integer. So it is represented as x plus 2. Okay. Now, if we're going to devise the plan, the sum of three consecutive integers is 258. When we say sum, okay, of three consecutive integers, we're going to add this one. So x plus the quantity of x plus 1 for the second consecutive integer plus x plus 2 for the third consecutive integer, okay, would be equal to 258. If we're going to carry out now the plan, this gives us, okay, x plus 1 plus x plus 2 is equal to 258, or 3x would be equal to 255. Dividing both sides of the equation with 3 gives us your x to 85. Okay. Now, our final answer, if we're going to substitute your 85, okay, to get now the second consecutive integer, so 85 plus 1, that would be 86. And then for the third consecutive integer, that is equal to x plus 2. Since our x is 85, you're going to add 2, gives us 87. So our final answer is 8, 5, 8, 6, and 87, or 85, 86, 87. Okay. Then the ages of three sisters are three consecutive even integers. If the sum of twice the first even integer, three times the second even integer, and the third even integer is 34. Find each age. Okay. We are looking for three even consecutive integers. Now, we will let x would be the first consecutive even integer, x plus 2 for the second consecutive even integer, and x plus 4 for the third consecutive even integer. For the device plan or second step, we're going to establish now our equation, since this one is 2x for the first plus 3 multiplied with x plus 2, 3 times of the second, and then we have the third, okay, x plus 4 would be equal to 34. If we're going to further simplify or show our solution for step 3, 2x plus 3 multiplied with quantity x plus 2 plus x plus 4 is equal to 34. Simplifying the whole equation gives us 6x would be equal to 24. Okay, how did we get that? By grouping your variables to the left and numerical values on the right. Okay, if we're going to further simplify this, divide both sides with 6, okay, gives us x is equal to 4. Now, if we're going to solve for the final answer, okay, we have your x that is equal to 4. So for the first one, to multiply it with x, okay, gives us what? 8, okay? For the second one, 3 multiply it with x plus 2, or 4 plus 2, okay, that is 6. So 6 multiply it with 3, that is 18, okay. Then for the fourth one, 4 plus 4, that is 8, okay. The ages of the three sisters are 4, 6, and 8. If we're going to sum this up, this gives us 34, basing from the established equation on step 2, okay. We have the business problem, break even or breaking even. Okay, this is very useful in real life. Okay, in a business related problem, the cost equation C C is representing as the cost of manufacturing a product, okay? Cost. In revenue equation, R is represented as the money the manufacturer makes on a product. If a manufacturer wants to know how many items must be sold to break even, that can be found by setting the cost equal to the revenue. The cost C is to produce your X. The number of CDs is C is equal to 50 plus multiply it with 5X plus the CDs are sold wholesale for $15 each. So the revenue R is equal to 15X. Find how many CDs the manufacturer needs to produce and sell to break even. So if we're going to understand the problem, your X is equal to the number of CDs. Okay? If we're going to establish our equation, for break even, the cost will equal to the revenue. Remember, for break even, your cost now equal to the revenue. So 50 plus 5x is equal to 15x. Okay? To carry out now the whole solution for your step 3, 50 plus 5x is equal to 15x. If you're going to transpose your 5x to the right side of equation, grouping of your variables, whether your unknown variables to the left or right of equation. Okay, so 50 would be equal to 15x. Since this is plus 5x, we're going to transpose it to the right side of equation, makes it as minus 5x. So 15x minus 5x. Okay, if we're going to further simplify this one, 50 is equal to 10x. Okay, and then divide both sides of equation with 10. So x now is equal to 5. Okay. When x is 5, the cost and revenue both would be equal to 75. Okay. For break even now, we need 5 CDs. Okay. So we have various practice problems, and that concludes my discussion for today. For any further questions, you may message me through our LMS inbox, okay, Canvas inbox, or through my email as stated on our LMS, or even through our messenger account. So good afternoon. Have a nice day.